You see, SMG4 characters can't die. I mean, they can die in a video, but they can't perma-die. Like, usually when a character dies in an episode, the episode revolves around having to bring them back to life. And even if the other characters fail to bring that person back to life, they're usually back by the next episode. Now you might be asking yourself, what? When has an SMG4 character ever gotten to a situation where if this was their death logic, it would result in their ultimate demise? Well, there's explosions, incineration, shotgun wounds, decapitation, 10-ton nukes, and spine removal, having Peach's disapproval, run over by a load of trucks, and telling Steve that Minecraft sucks. Also, there's stab wounds on us, so why does this one get a pass? 4 force drama, they broke the logic of this world. 4 force drama, they broke it just to off this girl. Alright, that's enough of that, you get the point. So yeah, when you have to break the logic of your world just to pull off a scene, it already makes it comes off as forced right out of the gate. That's why I don't think it works on a logical standpoint. So now let's talk about why I don't think it works on an emotional standpoint. Out of all the characters they could have chosen for this emotional peak they were trying to go for, they just had to use the most unlikable one. Now, don't get me wrong, they try to make her more likable, and by that I mean they have one scene of her claiming that she cares about her teammates. But any other time she speaks during the arc, it's either a snarky comment, a petty insult, or telling someone else what to do. There's only one other instance I can remember her complimenting someone else in this arc, and it's not even to her face. Like, she always comes off as snarky or rude or passive-aggressive. Why are they suddenly expecting us to care for her to this extent? And like, I get it, all death is tragic and this is no exception and all that, but come on, she was so unlikable and now they expect us to... And maybe I'd be a bit more forgiving here if the character's reaction to this wasn't so overblown. And this goes especially for Meggy. They'd been rivals up until 2 episodes ago, but now we're supposed to treat it like they were best friends. Like, do you really expect me to believe that with just, like, the 2 scenes that they were together, we're supposed to take that as going from bitter rivals to best friends? Like, again, I can understand her being upset at her death, but, like, lying at her grave, bawling, saying how you don't know how you're gonna move on, like, what do you mean? The only times you interacted before this arc were her trying to shoot at you, and, like, you were doing pretty well before you even knew her, like, why... Like, imagine if in, like, Sonic Adventure 2, like, what if Sonic, instead of, still being his cheerful, upbeat self, but still being respectful and mature about Shadow's death at the end of that game, instead he just, like, bawled and cried at the end of it, completely out of character, like, just not knowing how he's gonna move on, even though him and Shadow only just teamed up, like, 20 minutes ago or something, like, that would be stupid, and that's why this is stupid in my opinion. It just feels so overblown and forced. And another thing that bugs me about it is how easy it could have been fixed. Like, let's say back at that one scene where Meggy and Detsy are hiding from the anime or something. Like, instead of them, having casual talks about how much they hate each other and laughing about Mario packing a lot of food or something, I don't know, that was really dumb. Like, let's say instead they start getting in each other's throats about all the terrible stuff they've done to one another. It builds until Meggy asks Detsy, like, why did she become the way she is? And then that gets Detsy to start saying how back in her day, she wanted to be the winner of a Splatfest, so her and some of her friends started making her own team, but they weren't very good, so they started getting mocked by everyone else in Angopolis, which, let's say, caused Detsy to develop some kind of inferiority complex. She says how she started putting others down to make herself feel superior, and turned her only friends into perfect soldiers to have a better chance of winning the Splatfest, which, would be kind of like a dark mirror to what Meggy was doing earlier, which would, show us, not tell us, show us that they're, more similar than we first thought. And then after hearing that, Meggy would say that's not a good way to become popular, and then, maybe ask Detsy to hang out with her sometime, or even train together. To which Detsy would say she would think about it. Which would have made her death all the more tragic, cause, maybe she could have become a better person if she had lived. But no, with the arc we were given, I can guarantee you, if she had lived, she probably would have gone straight back to being Meggy's rival. Sure, it would have probably been more of a playful rivalry, but still. And, okay, let's say that's too big of a rewrite, that would have taken too much time to implement. Well, there are still simpler ways they could have fixed this. Like, let's say someone else was about to get the Annette Brute special, but then Detsy jumps in the way and takes the blow for them. While not as effective a fix, it still would have shown that Detsy does actually care about her teammates, not just tell us that she cares about them. Whew. That was quite the rant there. But I'm not done yet. And furthermore, Chris's near-death experience was 10 times more effective at being emotional than this ever wishes it could be. Because A, Chris is actually a likable character. B, it makes sense for Swagmaster to be upset because they've been lifelong friends despite their differences. And C, because they don't take it 100% seriously, because gosh darn it, this is a universe where half the dialogue is text-to-speech or random clips, half the animation is Gmod ragdolling, characters die every, 15 minutes before that suddenly became permanent. What happened to any sense of self-awareness when making this arc? Alright, I think I'm done ranting about that. I'm probably not going to be popular with the SMG4 fanbase after that, but whatever, let's wrap this review up. This is taking long enough already as it is. Final episode, final hours. We start with everyone continuing to mourn the death of Tetsuya. Oh yeah, because she was just such a good friend to them. She was such a good friend that they're mourning her for how long now? Oh, long enough for Francis to make 100 Sephiroths. Either he has the fastest hands in the land, or they are really pushing it. Anyway, the last two remaining good characters come in and beat all the Sephiroths, and they decide to throw Francis around for a bit, which proves to be foolish. He gets all the ink dumped on him, which somehow gets Inkweaver to 100%. How much ink made it? I don't care, I'm done arguing with Inkweaver and how that works. He summons a Super Saiyan or something, I don't know, I don't watch Dragon Spheres, and the gang does the age-old strategy of attacking him one at a time.
I'm just like hair bitch.
No! Not my favorite characters! Oh, okay. Fatal injuries are now funny again. Gotcha. So yeah, at some point in the battle, Axel manages to get his pen back, but it ran out of ink, so Meggy volunteers to go through the inkzucker again. The Saiyan tries to disrupt the process, but Axel gets all the ink he needs, and he summons, oh yeah, Shaggy. I'd call this a dead meme, but it's Shaggy, I couldn't possibly call him a dead meme. So yeah, the two duke it out, Francis gets his just desserts, the Saiyan realizes he can't beat the Super Shag and decides to self-destruct, taking everyone with him. Shaggy evacuates everyone, but somehow forgot the Inklings, he rushes back to get those, but he somehow forgot Meggy, he rushes back to get Meggy. Yep, they totally killed off their most popular character, everyone. Off-screen, no final words or anything, just killed off one of their most popular characters. Totally not trying to fake us out. Oh, what's this? Wait, what is this? Well, my gosh. They changed her design. They made it so that she's no longer an Inkling. Oh, what is this feeling? This emotion I'm feeling because of this. This raw, unrivaled indifference. I'm just completely indifferent to this redesign. I mean, yeah, it's pretty bland, and it was likely done for the sake of merchandising. But I mean, as far as bland redesigns go, I don't know, I've seen worse. Far worse. Honestly, I think it would have been a lot funnier if she turned into anime. I know it wouldn't have made a sense, but I mean, come on, how funny and ironic would that have been, turning into the thing she hates most? I mean, that would have been hilarious. So anyway, we cut to a little bit later at Detsy's funeral. Okay, for the sake of me not going on another rant, we're just gonna call it quits here. So that was the second part of the anime arc. I'm not a fan. No, don't get me wrong, I do appreciate the ambition that went into this one, some of the camera shots, some of the risks taken, I do appreciate SMG4 for trying some new stuff. I just feel this new stuff was not handled well. The more comedic moments and the more dramatic moments go together like oil and water, it's just tonal whiplash. And while I do think an unlikable character being redeemed can be done well, they gave Detsy little to no development, and they tried to pretend that she was a developed character when in reality she was no better than when we first met her. Nothing dramatic here feels genuine, and it really hurts because I can see what they were trying here, they didn't really have the resources to pull it off right, or the time. Most of it just feels overplayed and forced. If you like this arc, good for you. I just couldn't get into it. It didn't grasp me or anything. So, yeah, that's about it. That's my thoughts on the arc. I appreciate the ambition, it just didn't pay off for me. Alright, another arc finally down. Just one more to go, and I can finally put these arc reviews to rest. And no, I am not doing any more if he makes any more. Sorry.